Hey everyone, Duke here, and today we've got a huge update on the ability for you to get the weapon patterns that you need before Lightfall. According to this week's TWAB, next week we're going to have an update for deep sight resonance weapons in the seasonal activities, so all the weapons basically in the HELM. They are going to be updated from weekly deep sight weapon focuses to daily deep sight weapon focuses. This is going to apply to all the vendors in the HELM, starting from Season 16 until now, which is Season 19, so there's 4 vendors there. And this is going to help us craft those weapons before Lightfall, and we're going to talk about what these perks are, as well as all the weapons that are acquirable through all the seasonal vendors that are in the HELM. We still don't know if or how you're going to be able to get these weapons and get these patterns after Lightfall drops, with the HELM and all seasonal stuff basically being sunset and going away when that happens. So I would definitely recommend getting on this for any weapons that you are going to want to craft. Starting at the war table, we have Deep Sight Requisition. This is going to allow you to get the patterns for each of the war table weapons, which that includes Explosive Personality, Recurrent Impact, Under Your Skin, Sweet Sorrow, Thoughtless, and Peace of Mind. Next we have the Crown of Sorrow, which has the Focusing Deep Sight upgrade to allow you for crafting deep sight weapons. And the Crown of Sorrow actually had multiple different sets of weapons, basically. They brought back the Leviathan and brought back some of the older weapons, starting with Austringer, Drang, Beloved, and Calus Mini Tool. So these are all the opulent-specific weapons from the Leviathan. And then there are the haunted, more seasonal weapons, and this is the Hollow Denial, Bump of the Night, Tears of Contrition, Nezaric's Whisper, Fire Fright, and Without Remorse. And to go along with those kind of 2 separate sets of weapons, we actually have 2 other upgrades that you can unlock as well. We have Opulent Deep Sight. This is going to basically correlate to the 4 opulent weapons, and will allow you to get a deep sight weapon for the first time that you open up a opulent chest in the Leviathan each week. Again, I'm not sure if this is going to change to daily. It doesn't sound like it, but if it does, awesome. If not, you can at least get 1 per week until Lightfall drops. And our second upgrade is going to be Sever Deep Sight. This is going to be specifically for the 6 haunted weapons, and each time you redeem a bound presence from the completion of the Leviathan public event, you will get a guaranteed deep sight weapon. Again, specifically one of the 6 haunted weapons, with the opulent being specifically one of the 4 opulent weapons. Next we have the star chart, which the upgrade you're looking for here is the double perk weapon spoils. These weapons are going to include Tarnished Metal, Blood Feud, Brigand's Law, No Reprieve, Sail Spy Pitch Glass, and Plank Stride. And again, at the star chart, we have another way to get red borders. This is going to be Hidden Compartment, which allows for your first Catch Crash mission completed each week to give you a deep sight resonance. Again, not sure if this is going to change to daily. If it does, really, really helpful. Even if it doesn't, you can get a couple extra red borders in these last few weeks before Lightfall. And finally, we have the Exo Frame. Here we're looking at the Focusing Deep Sight upgrade. And just like the Crown of Sorrow, we do have some extra weapons here. We have the Ikelos weapons, so the hand cannon, shotgun, sniper, and super popular SMG, as well as the Fire and Forget, Tripwire Canary, Disparity, Path of Least Resistance, Judgment of Kelgaroth, and Retrofit Escapade. Do you know that the Exo Frame actually also gives deep sight weapons as leveling upgrades at level 7 and level 13, and these do come back when you prestige, so you can get even extra if you need some from here. We got 1 for Ikelos weapons and 1 for the Seraphic weapons. And not only that, but we have a couple upgrades for the Seraphic weapons themselves. We have Heisted Deep Sight, which is going to give you a guaranteed deep sight resonance each week for opening your first Seraph chest. Again, I'm not sure if this is going to be more than once a week once this update hits, but either way, you can get a few before the season ends. And the other one is Seraphic Deep Sight bonus. This actually gives you the chance for red border weapons every single time you do a Heist Battleground or a Legend Heist Battleground, and if you do get the red border, it will be guaranteed that you don't already have the pattern finished. So if you're looking for some of the Seraphic weapons, these 2 upgrades are going to help you get them much quicker. Now, if you're really short on time or materials, I'm just going to go over like 1 or maybe 2 weapons from each vendor that I think are the most useful. For the war table, I really actually like Explosive Personality, especially if you don't have Forbearance from the Vow of the Disciple raid. This is a really good wayframe. Wayframes in general are just really strong, and I really enjoy them a lot. So this is great. It's also solar instead of arc like Forbearance, so I think this is a really, really good option. Honestly, a lot of these weapons are really good. The bow is really nice. The sniper's not bad. The pulse is good for PvP. But I would personally think I've definitely used the grenade launcher the most out of these 6 weapons. For the Crown of Sorrow, I feel like Austringer and Calus Mini Tool are going to be your 2 kind of most wanted options. Austringer is outstanding in PvP and isn't bad in PvE. Hand cannons are falling off a little bit, mostly because SMGs are so good, but Calus Mini Tool is outstanding. Incandescent is a wonderful perk, and I have used my Calus Mini Tool a ton. As you can see here, we've gotten quite a bit of use out of this SMG at level 277 with 20,000 kills. Definitely have been enjoying it ever since I've been able to craft it. As for the haunted weapon specifically, Bump in the Night has been talked about recently and is a very solid rocket launcher for DPS. And I also really like Tears of Contrition. This is a really nice scout rifle, and especially if you're not going to be able to farm out a hung jury in Nightfalls this season, or don't already have one, I feel like this is a perfect replacement for the hung jury in your kinetic slot as a scout rifle. The Star Chart weapons, honestly, not my favorite. I wouldn't say any of the 6 of these weapons are weapons that I've really used much. I think Tarnished Metal, the Arc Scout Rifle, is pretty solid. I think this is probably the only weapon I've really used much at all, so not a bad weapon here. I would also say the Sail Spy pitch class, as we don't really have a ton of Arc Linear Fusion Rifles, especially if you either don't have Duality or don't really run Dungeons and Raids. Storm Chaser is a great Arc LFR, but this can be a decent backup one, so keep that in mind as well. And finally, at the Exo Frame, we have the Ikelos SMG. I feel like this is your #1 option out of all of the vendors to go for and craft before Lightfall. Volt Shot is super good on this weapon. You can pair it with Feeding Frenzy to reload super fast, get those Volt Shots off even quicker. This is definitely just a top tier weapon, and definitely recommend going for this. And honestly, most of the Seraphic weapons are actually pretty good in their own right. I know Retrofit Escapade was really popular for a while, but they did fix the bug with Volatile, so maybe a little bit less popular. The Trace Rifle is actually very nice, again, with Volt Shot, so nice option there. The Pulse, I know a lot of people are really liking in PvP especially. Bow's not bad, and the Linear Fusion, it doesn't have the greatest perks, but it is the only other kind of triple shot LFR other than Storm Chaser if you don't have it. It is Stasis, which can go well with Font of Might, at least unless or until they do that next season, so maybe less interesting there. I haven't really used this much. I don't think it's outstanding, but definitely a solid option if you're hurting for some other Linear Fusion rifles. Like I said, honestly, all these weapons pretty decent. Again, Ikelos definitely your top option in my opinion, though. And that's all for today. I hope this video was helpful in you getting your weapons crafted before Lightfall. Again, very likely that these weapons are not going to have their patterns acquirable after Lightfall drops, or at least very difficult to get, so grab them now. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.